So check this out. This is a cool part about how you do this, right? It's cold. Why am I not wearing a like proper gear? Woo! Wow. Last we left off, every carb I had on this was dumping fuel. It never ran right. I have one on the booster. So very simple, no screws at all needed. I could take this bike and go on a 10-minute ride and have it absolutely dial within 10 minutes without even, it's crazy, it's smooth. I'm gonna start out this weekend to show a couple buddies a bike. Paul is essentially a child.
Any modification done to the vehicle?
Yeah, I have a hot air intake to allow to be able to cross rivers and stuff with it. And then the back, I have the dually kit that was added by Roush. All right, fiddling with the smart carb a little bit. So with these, don't think about like your main versus pilot. Runs good. I need lighter rollers. Out of gas. It's dry. You get too old for this shit, Paul.
This guy just literally fell over in the street. Ooh, ooh.
We did the Baja last week. Just looking good. Baja got some new stuff. Got a new Brembo. Elite in here. Paul's testing out this Elite with a smart carb on it. I wish I still had the Tillotson. 28 runs worse. This Rich. Alright, so this got the... Huh? Got the smart carb on it. Do a little bit of... See how it rides. The 244 is definitely, it's rich, I can feel it. The brakes feel alright. So check this out. This is a cool part about how you do this, right? So you're lean, or I'm sorry, you're rich. Oh, he's got it clamped. So what you do is you push the slide all the way up for inside, and there's a top button. You click it down and you turn it counterclockwise. So I'd slide it up, push the button down the top and turn it. Every click counterclockwise leans it out. Every turn clockwise makes it richer. So literally you just run, pop that thing up, click, click, boom, you're done. So pretty cool. Runs good, it's rich. You can hear it right there. A little bit of CVT tuning. Lighter rollers maybe. I mean, it feels good, but your temps are in the mid-high 200s, but you hear that kind of like that kind of cackle where it's kind of breaking up there. That's too rich. You can hear it where it's kind of loading up. So to me, it's funny how slow a 70cc feels after riding something like the Aerox. However, this, it's cold. Why am I not wearing a like proper gear? But this is cool because you could start this thing up and ride it like wide open throttle, just non-stop, no problems, right? The Aerox with that 8.1, you know, it's a $8,000 motor price said and done, and I've only got maybe 3 miles on it, and I'm pretty sure it just blew a head gasket out. So temps are good, EGT is good. So like I have the double insurance there, right? The plugs look good. It's rich. It's definitely rich, but I think it's got a head gasket problem. But yeah, hear that? Loading up.
Reported for the company protection as well as.
No, there's no lights or check engine lights or anything like that.
Have you done any modifications to it?
A couple, yeah.
Which one, sir?
I added it's called a dually kit. It's a rear wheel dually kit. I'm running 16 ply deep dish 20 by 12s, and then I actually have a hot air intake system as well.
Okay, so let me go ahead and ask you. I am aware of the air intake. Did you do that with the dealership?
I did, yes.
Okay, and sir, the first one that you told me, which one was it, sir?
It's the rear wheel dually kit. It's
rear dual?
Yeah, I use it for towing my trailer.
Okay, so it's called
rear wheel dually kit. Yeah, it was Roush offered it as an upgrade. It was installed later by Roush.
We're talking about that's like cosmetic modifications, right?
Yeah, it's cosmetic. Yeah, it looks really good too.
Okay,
it's got the wide body. Yeah.
Okay, so at this moment, everything else seems like in perfect condition.
It's great. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and transfer you over with the Chevy license representative.
Okay.
He's the one that's going to go over the cost, the coverage, and all the benefits before they close out the file. Okay, sir?
Okay.
You're the specialist here today. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you so much for asking. And the call was concerning your 2014 Chevy Camaro. Can you please verify how many miles on the vehicle?
About 76,000.
And your zip code?
97206.
Which your issues with your vehicle?
No, not really. I mean, it's not really a super great car, but I don't have any major issues with it, no.
Any modification done to the vehicle?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Okay, and what is the modification?
I spoke with the last lady. I have the air intake kit, and then the back I have the dually kit that was added by Roush Factory Racing later.
So more so of a racing vehicle?
It's not racing vehicles, just for like, being able to it's just something fun extra to add the dually kit on the back.
So what was the modifications? One more time, sir?
It's the rear wheel dually kit.
Okay.
So there's actually 4 wheels on the back and 4 tires. Like you see trucks pulling horse trailers, it's basically that same modification on the back, just for more towing capacity. Helps with trailer sway as well too.
Alrighty, and what was the other modification?
I have a hot air intake, and it raises the intake higher, so it's better when it like rains a lot, because it doesn't suck water in. Because I live in an area where it rains really heavy, so often I'm driving through like 2-3 feet of water with it. And if you're looking, Roush offered it as an upgrade. It actually comes out of the side of the fender, and then it's up like 2 feet out the side of the car. That way you can go through water, like lakes and rivers and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it just rains a lot here, so I have a hot air intake to allow to be able to cross rivers and stuff with it. Roush put it on. Oh. Dang it!
Alright, I'm fiddling with the smart carb a little bit. I shouldn't right now because it's pretty much time to go home. Not wearing a hoodie or a jacket or any of that good stuff, and it's really cold out, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Still need some CVT work. Clutch needs, typically I run a yellow Contra, but I feel like this one needs like a red. Windjammer Corsa hits the fairings right now, so I'm gonna have to figure something out on that choke, or stiffen the shock up. Actually, I don't think I can. Oh yeah, let's stiffen the shock up a little bit. I'm gonna hit that choke either way I slice it. I think not gonna be a problem on elites. Dios, you'll have to trim your fairings there, which I know nobody wants to do. I don't want to do it. Or run a stiffer shock in the back, or raise it a little bit, which I also know Dio guys don't want to do. I don't blame you there either. So we're just gonna do this real quick to hopefully help a little bit. Just get a rough feel for kind of how the carb feels. They'll be using some lighter rollers, and I do think a red Contra would help too. That was only 9,700 RPM. We should have no problem getting to 12 or 13 with this bike. Feels good. I need to, I think my temp gauge is not, yeah, my ring must not be on. I think I have taller gears in this bike too. I don't know. I built this bike so many years ago, I honestly can barely remember. Well, actually, I don't remember at all what gears are in it. Woo! Feels really smooth. It doesn't feel like you changed from a pilot to a main. It's just like all kind of the same. Because I mean, you don't have a pilot. I mean, why does it feel like the front end of this bike is gonna fall off? What's going on here? Oh, interesting. Everything looks okay. Famous last words till you eat shit. My back tire is kind of low, but woo! Oh, there goes my visor. I'm falling apart today, guys. Visor's falling off the helmet. Oh well. Hey, I know that guy. All right, let's see. Man, I don't know. Something feels funky with these tires, or I don't know. Something doesn't feel right. I think I'm gonna go back and call it a day. Get back to it later. Wheel comes off the ground, no problem though, but something feels weird. I think I got a low tire. I know the back's low, but the front feels all messed up. Yeah, that back tire feels pretty soft. We'll go back another day. Feels good. Red, go back to a red Contra. Woo! Wow! I mean, for a 72, it's not bad. You see the speedo? Needs tuning for sure, but my visor's falling off. Something feels a little funky on my tire's about flat. Ain't the good Lord's telling me to take a chill pill and come back another day. Yeah, happy with it so far. What's really cool about this is I fought issues, major issues with overfueling and flooding, because it's got a pump and they always overfuel and flood. It's really common on these Dios. So that zero, not a single drip of fuel came out, which is really nice. You need to get a filter on there. But the biggest issue I had with this bike was just getting being able to use it, because it just dump fuel non-stop. So pop that carb on, no problems, and it should probably fires right up too, I'm sure. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, I'll fiddle with it a little bit next week and give you guys kind of a better update. But it was spinning about 10,000 there, which tells me definitely need lighter rollers and probably a red Contra, which, like I said earlier, normally I always do yellows, but this bike definitely wants a red. Why did this guy not pick this bike up? Yeah, cool. I'm happy with that.
All right, well, I just recorded a bunch and nothing recorded, so didn't press a button or something. But we're gonna wrap up this Dio. This one's got the Smart carb on it. This is the 26, I think, on this guy. And last we left off, every carb I had on this was dumping fuel. It never ran right because the pump pushes past the float, and then you have issues. So most of the time the Dio, guys, I put a gas tank under the seat. I don't want to do that. The Dio now has no, it's not floating out, it's not having issues. Last we left off, I just put this on, went for, actually I haven't even ridden this bike yet on video. We're gonna go for a ride. I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is to tune and the benefits of this carburetor and running them. And also we had a purple lead in here. that didn't really have time to dyno tune, and we put the smart carb on and then just sent it on its way, and we tuned it, but we just never recorded because we were just too busy. This should, in theory, wrap up tuning on the Dio and my thoughts on it. Also with the purple bike as well, the purple Elite that we did, that we just never finished. We never made a video. It's finished, it's done, it's dialed, the guy loves it, but we never did a video on tuning the carburetor. Just so you guys know, I am going to slowly put these on every one of my bikes. I have one on the Dio, I have a smart carb on the Dio, I have one on the Booster as well, and I have one on the Aerox. I'll show you guys how nice these things start and how nice they run. And I really haven't made really any adjustments. I've leaned it out a little bit, but that's kind of it. That bike is going to get a smart carb as well. The Aerox is going to get a smart carb as well. I got the cases all painted up, waiting on a water pump seal. The Twin is running Electrons. I'm not going to switch to smart carbs just because those are, you know, expensive carbs. That Twin over there is running Electrons as well. I'll kind of give you guys a side-by-side difference, and I know we've talked about it in the past, but the way you tune a Electron is you're going to take the screws off, slide the whole slide out, and this is called your metering rod, and what you're going to do is you're going to rotate this, and what that's going to do is raise it or lower it. So when you need to make an adjustment on Electron, you're going to pull the slide out, you're going to adjust this metering rod. So they're amazing carbs, really good carbs. They're awesome. I do have some issues with them, the float sticking very often. Like the Twin, the 140 started up this weekend, and the right one's dumping fuel, so I got to take those apart. I have had an issue with this one flooding out, obviously, and that's what caused, not smart carbs problem necessarily. Floats do get stuck. It does happen on PWKs, on Mikunis, on every carb. However, I do think it's maybe a little bit more common on the Electrons over the smart carbs. Not super sure, but I kind of have a feeling that they're a little bit more common that they leak, because this one here, when I started up this weekend to show a couple buddies a bike, it started dumping fuel out this guy here, if I recall, or one of them. But anyhow, I'm definitely more of a fan of the smart carbs because of the ease of adjustment. What you're gonna do, it's probably easier to show you on the Aerox. You're not gonna be able to get a super great perspective when I'm riding, but what I typically do is hold the throttle wide open. And as you hold that wide open throttle, you're gonna push this knob down like this. It's gonna click, and you're gonna turn it counterclockwise or clockwise to make your adjustment on fueling. That's it. Each click is an adjustment. So very simple, no screws at all needed. I could take this bike and go on a 10-minute ride and have it absolutely dial within 10 minutes without even taking anything apart, without even touching. Just hold that wide open throttle, keep it wide open, and that's gonna drive the slide all the way to the top, and you're gonna rotate this knob. I think in theory it's kind of doing the same thing. It's moving the rod up and down, but it's doing it all internally rather than having to take it apart, which is very, very smart, no pun intended. But yeah, smart carbs are not electronic. They don't have any sensors. Some people think they're electronic. They're not. At least these aren't anyways. Very simple to do this. So you guys are going to see how this runs. You're going to listen to it, but you're not really going to be able to see really exactly like what I'm doing. So I'm going to lean over and show you I'm basically on this bike, I put my finger in here, I raise a slide all the way, and then take my other hand and adjust that to make it richer or leaner. But I'll show you guys how quick and how simple it is to make this happen, and to give you guys a perspective on what they do, how they work, and the benefits. I don't think the gains, I don't think the power gains are huge. I think on this bike we saw about a 1 wheel horse. But the throttle response is crazy. It's smooth. They start good. They're just quick and easy to tune, which is nice. And I know that it's not this massive mess of jetting, fueling, whatever. You go on a long ride somewhere, say you do a group ride, and the temperature changes, like in Seattle. So we go to Seattle, and I take one of my bikes over there. I take the runner, And every single bike, I have to drop 2 or 3 jet sizes every time. Ride them. So it's a whole different process. I just want to get on the bike and ride. I don't want to have to keep tuning. It's one thing if you have 1 bike, but if you bring 3 or 4 to an event, you have to tune every single one of them. Tennessee was like that. Alabama was like that too, where everything was crazy rich up there, fouling plugs. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Tennessee was lean. Alabama was rich. Big time. Tennessee, you're going to blow your stuff up if you take your bikes from Oregon to Tennessee and run them. Seen a guy do that. I told him, hey, put more fuel in. He didn't. He blew his bike up like on the first ride. So I don't want to do that anymore. I just love the ease of being able to turn a knob and go. They are expensive, but time is valuable as well. And riding, we've all done it where you're riding and you stop and you're changing your jets on the side of the road with some buddies down on the gravel, covered in gas, and you're riding with gas all over your hands. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. Let's get started. I'll put this GoPro on my helmet, take this puppy for a little rip, and show you guys just how quick and easy it is to tune these bikes. And the same theory is going to apply for any of these smart carbs you run on any of these bikes.
Because he somehow, I don't know how many times I've told him to put his bikes away, and he always leaves them right in the middle. It's like the broken record. It's no different than my children when I tell them pick up after themselves. They don't. Paul is essentially a child. God bless his heart, but he is a child. Now we've got that out of the way. I don't know how long this thing's been like sitting, but yeah, let's see if it starts. CDI, look, I got this stuff hanging out there. Let's see here. Sometimes it takes a while because these have to get fuel all the way up to the carb. Also, I don't know, this switch is a Yamaha switch on this bike. Oh, there we go. Alright. Choke? No choke? That's choke on. That wasn't too bad. Take choke off. I can't go too aggressive because on this bike the choke knob is going to hit the plastics. I believe counterclockwise is leaner. And clockwise is richer. I don't think my temp gauge is even hooked up either. I'm just gonna kind of show you guys by feel how I would do it. And obviously for like the long pulls, you guys need to be checking your temps and reading the plugs. Warm up a bit. Kind of idle down a hair. So I can tell now just with how much is smoking, it's a little rich. So with these, don't think about like your main versus pilot. It's all one setting. I can see just there with how much is smoking, it's rich. So right off the bat, I'm gonna shut it off. And then that slide, you raise it all the way up. Like I said, you guys, I can't do this with gloves. That's why I showed you earlier kind of how it works, because it's going to be kind of hard with the camera on the helmet to show you guys exactly what I'm doing. But I'm going to slide this up. I'm going to push down on this red knob on the top with one finger. I'm going to rotate it. Let's go, it went like 3 clicks. Okay, so I leaned it out 3 clicks. Go for a little cruise. See how she feels. Make a few more adjustments. Like I said, you guys would really... I don't have my phone on me. My gas gauge shows I'm empty. Let's just see how that pans out for me. Yeah, I don't... My temp gauge is not hooked up, but... I can at least tell you kind of by feel. The bike needs a little bit of CVT tuning too. If anything, it's probably, I feel like maybe a little lean now. You hear that like, that bog? Whoa, easy there. So like I said, it needs some CVT work too, but that initial, that little like initial bog. So I'm gonna pull over. We're riching it up a tiny bit. I'm just smoking. I'll pull over, shut it off. So check this out, guys. Literally so easy. Actually, I'm gonna pull that wide open throttle. You do it with your hand. Twist down. And then, there we go. Okay, so I went 5 to the right. Just gonna richen it up a little bit. See if that helps. I may need to get a temp gauge on here because yeah, I may have to get a temp gauge on here to really dial it in because it'd be kind of hard. There's your RPMs. There, okay. Okay, here running out of gas there. Actually, I think I'm too rich, or I'm literally running out of gas. I'm gonna lean it out a little bit. Wide open throttle, get down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's try that. I may actually be running out of gas, but we'll see. I actually forgot how much fun this bike is to ride. That feels better. It's not cutting out, so it's definitely a little bit too rich. It needs a little bit of CVT work, lighter rollers for sure. But it runs good. Now I think I'll have to go back and put a temp gauge on it, but for now we'll just kind of keep playing with it, see what happens. See if it stops cutting out. I'm not even getting into the power yet. Yeah, I was rolling it too heavy. Come on, baby. Yeah, I think it's still too rich because it's loading up and cutting out, so we'll go back, put some gas in it, get a temp gauge on it, but runs good. I need lighter rollers. I'm only revving to say 99, 9700. This pipe should be revving to 12. Probably go back, drop a couple grams maybe. Drop, I probably have like 5.5s in here. Probably need like 5s, and then slap a temp gauge on this puppy. Probably putting in some fuel wouldn't be a bad idea. So a lot of you guys don't know, but this bike, funny enough, I bought this bike in pieces back when you could actually buy a bike from the Philippines that wasn't completely destroyed, and it shows up like a Tupperware totes and everything, just pieces, nuts, bolts, rusted, just like a pile of parts, a real mess. And then slowly just fixed it up, and I did this Super Sunday, I think twice. I think I did Super Sunday twice on this thing. Did a lot of local rides here, did Fair to Ferry on it, so it's cool. It's definitely got like I've got some personal attachment to it because this is like the OG, the original. I think it's the first Dio I got years ago. So they're really hard to find in good condition. There's some coming in California. I've seen some come in that are just completely trashed. The forks are rusted. They look good in pictures, but it's like covered in, like, you know, greasy Armor All type of stuff, lipstick on a pig. And yeah, a lot of them are just totally junk. So beware if you're looking at a Dio. Really inspect them well, because there's a lot of trash out there. It's really hard to find them like this, with the all original OEM panels, original skirts. Skirts are uncut. Yeah, let's go ahead and take this in and get a temp gauge on it first to toss some fuel in it, and I'll go a little bit lighter on the rollers and see if I can't get those RPMs up a little bit higher and see if we can kind of tune out that bog there. But as you guys see, it's, I mean, I was on a ride for maybe all of, like, I don't know, maybe that was a 10-minute ride, if that, and you saw how quick the adjustments were. We'll keep going with it.